Writing. What's up everyone? Welcome back to Drivenology. Today's video is something special. Something loud. Something unapologetically raw. We're talking about a name that echoes through muscle car history like a thunderclap. The 2025 Plymouth Road Runner. Yeah, you heard that right. The Road Runner is back. And it didn't come back to be quiet, efficient, or polite. It came back to shake the ground, wake the neighbors, and remind the world what real American muscle feels like. From the moment you lay eyes on this beast, you already know what it's about. No gimmicks, no overcomplication, just pure, aggressive attitude wrapped in steel and fire. Let's start with the exterior, because honestly, this thing demands attention before it even starts. The 2025 Road Runner stays true to its heritage, but it's been sharpened for the modern era. The body is wide, planted, and muscular, like it's flexing even when it's parked. The front fascia is dominated by a bold, rectangular grille that stretches across the face, finished in a deep black mesh that almost looks like it's swallowing air. Flanking the grille are aggressive LED headlights, but they're styled to resemble the classic dual lamp setup from the original Road Runner. It's a clever mix of retro inspiration and modern execution. The hood is where things get serious. A massive functional hood scoop rises from the center, not just for show. This thing feeds air directly into the engine like it's starving for oxygen. Subtle heat extractors sit behind it, reminding you that what's underneath runs hot. Moving along the sides, you'll notice sharp character lines that run from front to rear, giving the car a sense of motion even when it's standing still. The wheel arches are wide and aggressive, housing massive performance tires wrapped around forged alloy wheels. Depending on the trim, you're looking at sizes up to 20 inches, finished in either matte black or polished gunmetal. And yes, the classic Road Runner decals are back. Tastefully done, not over the top, but enough to make enthusiasts smile. At the rear, things get even more dramatic. A full-width LED taillight bar stretches across the back, with a subtle nod to the old-school rectangular lights. There's a ducktail spoiler integrated into the trunk lid, adding both style and downforce. And then, the exhaust. Quad exhaust tips, finished in black chrome, sitting low and wide. Even at idle, they hint at the chaos waiting to be unleashed. Overall, the exterior doesn't try to be futuristic or overly refined. It's bold, it's aggressive, and it wears its identity proudly. Now let's step inside, because this is where things get interesting. You might expect a bare-bones, stripped-out cabin, but Plymouth has done something smart here. They've kept the raw spirit, but added just enough modern comfort to make it livable. The first thing you notice when you open the door is the smell, that mix of leather, metal, and performance. The seats are deeply bolstered, wrapped in premium leather with Alcantara inserts. They hug you tight, like they're preparing you for what's coming. The stitching is bold, often in contrasting colors like red or orange, giving the cabin a sporty edge. And right there on the headrests, the Road Runner logo. A small detail, but it matters. The dashboard design is driver-focused. Everything is angled slightly toward you, making it feel like a cockpit rather than just a cabin. The centerpiece is a large digital instrument cluster, fully customizable, showing everything from speed and RPM to performance data like G-forces and lap times. Next to it sits a touchscreen infotainment system, responsive, modern, but not overly complicated. It supports all the essentials like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it doesn't dominate the interior. Plymouth clearly didn't want screens to take over the experience. Below that, you'll find physical controls. Real buttons, real knobs, and honestly, that's refreshing. When you're driving something like this, you don't want to dig through menus just to adjust the climate. The steering wheel is thick, flat-bottomed, and wrapped in leather. It feels solid in your hands, with just the right amount of resistance. Paddle shifters sit behind it, made of cold metal, adding to the tactile experience. One of the coolest features is the performance mode toggle. Flip it, and the entire car changes character. The display turns more aggressive, the exhaust opens up, and the throttle response sharpens instantly. Space-wise, it's what you'd expect from a muscle coupe. The front seats are spacious and comfortable, but the rear seats are more symbolic. You can fit people back there, but they probably won't thank you for it on long drives. Cargo space is decent, Enough for a couple of bags or a weekend getaway, but let's be honest, you're not buying this car for practicality. Now, let's talk about the heart of the beast. Performance. Because this is where the Road Runner truly earns its name. Under the hood, you have options, but every option is insane in its own way. The base model starts with a naturally aspirated V8, pushing around 485 horsepower. Even that is more than enough to put a smile on your face. But if you step up, you get the supercharged version. We're talking about a monstrous V8 producing over 700 horsepower. Let that sink in. 700 horsepower in a car that's designed to go straight and fast. The moment you press the start button, the engine roars to life. Not a polite hum, not a quiet purr, a full-on, chest-thumping roar that makes your heart skip a beat. On the road, the acceleration is brutal. 0 to 60 happens in the low 3-second range, depending on the configuration. And it doesn't just accelerate, it launches. The rear-wheel drive setup ensures that you feel every bit of that power. It's not overly sanitized, it demands respect. The transmission options include a fast-shifting automatic, but for purists, there's still a manual gearbox available. And honestly, that's where the magic is. Rowing through gears in a car like this is an experience that modern vehicles rarely offer anymore. Handling has improved significantly compared to the old-school muscle cars. The suspension is adaptive, meaning it can be relatively comfortable in normal driving, but stiffen up when you push it. That said, this isn't a track-focused sports car. It's still a muscle car at heart. It prefers straight lines, long roads, and open highways. The steering is precise, but it still has a bit of weight to it, giving you that connected feel. You're not just guiding the car, you're controlling it. Braking is handled by massive performance brakes, capable of bringing this beast to a stop with confidence. You're going to need that, considering how fast it can go. And then there's the sound. Oh, the sound. The exhaust note is deep, aggressive, and unmistakable. It crackles on downshifts, roars under acceleration, and settles into a menacing rumble at idle. It's not just noise, it's emotion. Driving the Road Runner isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about the experience in between. Now let's talk about fuel efficiency, or rather, the lack of it. This car doesn't pretend to be efficient. It drinks fuel like it's part of the experience. If you're worried about miles per gallon, this probably isn't the car for you. But if you're here for power, sound, and presence, you won't care. Moving on to pricing, because that's an important part of the story. The base model is expected to start somewhere around $55,000. That gets you the naturally aspirated V8 and all the essential features. Step up to the mid-range trims, and you're looking at around $65,000 to $75,000, depending on options. But if you want the full experience, the supercharged engine, upgraded performance package, premium interior touches, you're easily crossing the $85,000 mark. And if Plymouth decides to release special editions, don't be surprised if those go well into six-figure territory. Is it cheap? No. Is it worth it? That depends on what you're looking for. Because the Road Runner isn't trying to compete with luxury sedans or high-tech electric cars. It's not about efficiency, autonomy, or minimalism. It's about emotion. It's about power. It's about that feeling when you press the throttle and the world blurs around you. In a world where cars are becoming quieter, more digital, and more controlled, the 2025 Road Runner feels like a rebellion. It's loud, it's aggressive, it's imperfect in all the right ways. And that's exactly why people are going to love it. So, who is this car for? It's for enthusiasts. For people who grew up loving muscle cars. For those who miss the raw, mechanical feel of driving. It's for anyone who wants a car that doesn't just move, but makes you feel something every time you start it. Of course, it's not perfect. The fuel consumption is high. The rear seats are cramped. And in tight corners, it can feel a bit heavy compared to more agile sports cars. But those aren't flaws, they're part of its character. Because the Road Runner isn't trying to be everything. It's trying to be one thing, and it does that incredibly well. Raw power, pure muscle, and honestly, that's more than enough. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2025 Plymouth Road Runner, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on future content. Let us know in the comments, would you take this over modern electric performance cars? Until next time, keep the engines roaring. Drivenology, signing off.